Hi, this is Vivian. You're listening to Reflective Talk. So today I'm going to talk about an old story with three new distinct perspectives. Perhaps I have talked about this in similar way before, but this is the first time I clearly see them as three individual ideas. So you all heard about me when I was younger. My parents was busy at work, and at school I was actually an outcast. And so there's no support at school when my grandma and grandpa passed away in grade 5. And there's no support at home because they're busy at work. And throughout my teen years and adulthood, my parents has been always labeling and name-calling me at dinner table, yelling at me. And you heard all this story before, but today I'm going to offer three distinctive perspectives. First of all, I partially get out of that state because I have very, very strong self-esteem. I refuse being defined, and this is how I go. I keep celebrating small success. I don't be afraid to compliment on myself. I'm not saying to be boastful, but the objective achievement that you should be proud of yourself and should not shy away from it. I know the laws of Christianity talk about you have to be humble, but certain thing, if you make certain kind of measurable achievement, you should celebrate yourself, even though it's just one step above the last step you take. Small incremental success build your confidence. Small incremental success build your confidence, but you have to celebrate it. You have to watch for it. And you have to give yourself credit and not be ashamed to call it, even though nobody acknowledge it. And that's something not often happens. Happens like when people like my parents just talk about me when I was younger, say I'm overconfident. But if I'm not that confident, I don't know how else I'm going to survive in that environment. I know exactly what I'm talking about. I have measurable result, I accomplish tasks, and so I give me rightly to claim that I'm good at that. I'm able to do it. I don't need other reference to say that I can claim that one. Of course, all the talent, all the understanding are given by God. At the end of the day, it was God give me that strength, right? And I'm not to say that we should not give credit to God, but it's okay to acknowledge your strength. It's okay to be objective about what kind of achievement you actually bring about to the table. And because there's so many people willing to push us and flow it off the confident stream. Like they will just kind of like put negativity to us and push it off the confidence stream if there's a stream of confidence. So we need to really get to know and appreciate about our strength. Not to be shy away from it, but you don't have to boast about it because everything comes from God. You just have to know this is who I am and it's okay. It's perfectly okay. You're doing something good. As long as you don't boast it above God. As long as you don't claim other credit. Second thing, it was exactly that I'm not exactly trying to please my parent to continue to try new things. Partially, I'm trying to prove myself that I'm capable of. Every time my parent turned on a thing, let's say I took mathematics and they don't think I can do it, I turn to computer science, and then I turn to poetry and turn to so and so and so and so. I turn to it and it becomes excitement for me. It's an excitement for me because the power is within me. I can go in length as detailed and as depth as much I want into study a subject, and it's always within my strength to control how much I want to invest on developing the skill, how much I want to try. And when I don't get it, I didn't stop there. I'm so interested that there must be one thing that I'm good at. There must be one thing that I'm meant to be. So when I hit the wall, when I try all I might and I still don't make it, I shift my gear and I try something else and I try something else. And it just keeps motivating me to try more because I get excited. What other possibility I can try? What other thing I can try? Is because I'm compared to myself. Because I know the maximum I can do is whatever I put my mind to. This is something you can gratify when you compare to yourself and not to other people. Because when you compare yourself with other people, you cannot control other people and you end up blaming other people for your failure or for your mistake. But when we take ownership, when we are in the driving seat, we are try as fast as much as we want, go as far as we want, and if we go to the end of the road of one end, we can pull out the car and go to the next road and the next road. The car is a moving thing, it's a living thing. I can try as many disciplines as I want, and I may not always become what I first thought I met myself to be. I thought I would be a mathematician, but I didn't become the best in math. It doesn't really matter. Along the way, when I tried all I might, I have satisfaction because what was the first thing that I say? Celebrate small win. When you keep celebrating small win and you keep moving on a direction, no matter how far you go, how little you go, after you go and invest some time on learning something, you will have many small wins. And you don't just have one small win or two small wins or one kind of small win or two kind of small wins. Every time you hit a dead end, you remove your car from the track and go to the next one. And on every track that you're on, you actually move past many street names. You pass down many milestones that you have. Even though you never see the end of that street, you pull away far enough to say, this is not for me. I try all my might and I still can't get it. There must be another way I can achieve better. But look at it. I try all I might before I pull out my car. And I don't just go about it and I celebrate all the wins along the way. And I don't beat myself up when I pull out the car. I get excited about new opportunity, a new way I can experience myself, a new way I can explore my skill. That's how I overcome it. That's why my confidence is strong against that very thing my parents was trying to tell me. All the no, all the harsh word, all the labeling did not destroy me. All the yelling did not destroy me. And it's not just my own effort. Why? Where do I come that strength from? Where do I get the discernment? Where did I got that logical thinking or emotion intelligence? Remember, when all this started, when I was the first time I have experienced my first adversity, I was in third grade. Nobody anywhere near me able to touch me other than God. And at that point, I haven't fully understand God. But God reached out to me. And that's the first point I really want to hit home. When I tell you the story before, you may feel like, yeah, that sounds great that you didn't actually fall into quitting school or developing into anger. You will feel great, a great story, but don't feel too much. But if you think about it this way, majority of people, human behavior, and subconscious programming is done from age 4 to age 7. And given a majority of the upbringing, like the habit and all that stuff are from elementary school, like before you become a teen. Given that, I actually don't have too much support all along the way, but I did not copy what I see. I did not copy what I see from my parents. I did not copy what I see from my friends. I actually deal with the situation in a way that I don't expect. I don't expect I will able to choose to respond instead of react. Choose to use my emotional intelligence, use my logical thinking instead of react to the situation when I was in 3rd grade. Even when I was in teenagers to adulthood, nobody in my family is actually teaching me how to react except through the wisdom of God. And I couldn't be here. I couldn't be doing all those. I wouldn't have that passion, that wisdom to go all after the comparison within myself, all the counting, all the blessing, all the win for myself. I wouldn't know how to do that. I wouldn't know how to count the blessing or the win. I wouldn't know how to only compare to myself. I don't know all that stuff. I don't know any of the personal development, any emotional, no nothing, no insight, no understanding, no nothing. It was not for God. Because I was only 10. I was only about 10 when I first got my adversity when I was 3rd grade. And it's at that point around 10 that I asked God for wisdom. When I heard the story about Solomon, even though I'm still not too sure about, I understand who God is. So, given that I was living under that environment, given that the window between me learning how to have program my subconscious mind and my habit subconsciously, during that window really close, like 4 to 10, so like that close window, God planned something in me, give me the wisdom so I can do the impossible. I don't even know how that was possible. It must be God's grace. I mean, didn't grow to have an anger problem, didn't drop out of school, didn't give up on myself. Actually, not only I didn't give up on myself, I keep trying. I was forever trying. If I go one way, that end, I go the next way. And this wisdom can only be revealed by God. And I cannot stress enough. I did nothing when I was younger, other than my parents had been praying for me at that time, and I've given God grace. I asked God for wisdom, and God granted. That's how serious this is. I cannot explain my optimism, my upbeat personality that I did not inherit from my parents. I didn't get affected by the way they handle emotion, the way they handle conflict. Did not get impacted by it at oh, it was as though God gave me this understanding just to help me to deal with my childhood, to deal with my adulthood. So I really want to share with you today is that no matter how many times you heard me talk about this story, I want you to know that this free will that I newly emphasized today, take a look at them and see how gracious God can be when you choose to rely on Him. And He is drawing you. He is drawing you right now to Him without even you seeking Him. You might or might be obedient to Him right now, but He is loving you regardless. There's nothing you can change God, how God loves you. Nothing can change that. We are created in God's image. So if you have any doubt right now, I want you to give it all to God. Because if you pray to God and ask God for to help you, to assist you, God will answer your prayer. If you ask God to reveal to you, God will reveal to you. His promise is faithful. His promise is always true. If you knock, the door will be open. Seek and it will be found. So I just want to close this episode just with that. And I will see you in the next episode.